Hey guys, what's up? It's Dean. Welcome to Manflow Yoga. In this video, I'm going to show you some weighted back squats. So the reason why I'm making this video is because I want to show you a little bit more about how I integrate yoga into my workout routine. I said numerous times that, and in a lot of blogs and posts and stuff, that about 75% of what I do is yoga, but that other 25%, maybe I don't talk about as much. So what I like to do with weights is back squats, deadlifts, and sometimes some rowing exercises. But mostly it's those Olympic lifts. It's squats and deadlifts. So I'm going to show you my squat workout now. So I've already done about 40 minutes of yoga focused on hips. So my hips are really warm. They might be a little bit tired, but no more so than if I had just done a few warm-up sets with weights. So I'm going to jump straight into my weighted back squats now. I'm starting at 185, and I think I'm going to do about 10 of these, and then I'm going to work my way up, and just depending on how I feel. I don't have a set plan as far as reps and sets. We're just going to see how it goes. Here we go. And then before I start, one thing I want to focus on in particular is keeping my back in slight extension. So as I get down, especially as I get down near the bottom, there's a tendency for people to kind of round out like this. So I'm going to work on keeping my back in extension, kind of reaching my tailbone back like that. And not so much keeping my chest upright like I would in yoga. I'm not going to work on keeping my chest as upright as possible. But I'm going to work on just letting my chest kind of naturally come forward a little bit so I'm in a neutral position. And then using maximum glute, core, and thigh engagement to press down and stand all the way back up. So, let's see what that looks like. I need some metal music. I just stepped on something. So we did 9 before I stepped on staples. There we go. So I just inserted some staples into my heel. So I'll finish up the next 2 after I finish bleeding. Oh, fuck it. 1 more. All right, there's 10. I'm gonna take a break and come back in a couple minutes. And I'm gonna move up to 215. So I'm gonna add 10 pounds on each side. Wait, that doesn't do math. What am I at right now? 205. I'm moving to 205, not 215. All right, so after a 3-minute break, 3 to 5 minute break, and unsuccessfully trying to find that set of staples that I stepped on, we're back for more. So I added 10 pounds on both sides. We're up to 205 now. I'm gonna do 8 reps total. Same sequence as before, just nice and controlled. Not totally slow, not fast, just even pace. Slightly heavier. Make sure your toes stay straight forward in the squat. weight at 205. So, and that time I focused on keeping my toes facing straight forward. Made sure I wasn't leaning back at all. And as I was standing up, I was really focusing on engagement right through my midsection. So feeling my hip flexors, feeling my core tighten up as I press back up. And not pressing back up with momentum, but pressing back up with control. All right, so another 3-minute break. I'm gonna go up to 225 for 6 total. All right, so I figured it'd be helpful to show you what I'm doing between sets. So typically between sets, I'm not gonna just stand still and like watch a timer. I'm gonna walk around and move a little, right? I wanna move, I wanna keep my body active. So typically what I would also like to do is the opposite movement of what I've been doing in the squat or something different. So, but I do wanna do it in an active way. So I don't wanna do something that's totally passive, but I do wanna do something that will help work, kind of do the opposite of what I've been doing. So one thing I'll do is an active forward fold, right? I've been doing lots of squats, right, like this. One thing I haven't been doing is forward fold. So I'm gonna work on squeezing my thighs, my hip flexors toward my core, getting my hamstrings to lengthen, and reducing, maybe at least lengthening through the lower back, focusing on tightening the abs and lightly tightening the thighs. Some other things I'll do, because in the squat, the hip flexors are really tight, is a supported high lunge. So instead of doing, a high lunge where I'm using my strength to hold myself upright, maybe I'll do something kind of more like a warrior one, where I'm using something to hold myself upright, or I'm just working on letting my hips open up a little bit. So that's another strategy I would use. Anyways, and now we'll get into set number 3. So, set number 3. I've added 10 more pounds on both sides, so I'm up to 225. If I was cool in a gym right now, I'd have 245s on both sides, but I'm not. So I've got 45, 25, and 210s on both sides. So I'm gonna do 6 now. I'm gonna work on keeping good form. So keeping my toes facing forward, making sure I'm still getting depth in the squat, so making sure I'm not cheating at all by not going down low enough. And then as I come down and I get in this position here, I'm gonna work on keeping my body kind of contained, right? So I'm not gonna lean back at all. I'm not gonna lean forward and come onto my toes. I'm gonna keep just pressing down through my heels, keep my abs tight, and drive back up to standing. So I'm gonna keep good form and make sure I'm not compensating or cheating by leaning forward, leaning back, or using momentum, but rather just using brute strength, right? Not brute strength, but controlled strength. Get back up. All right, here we go. 225, 6 reps. Feels heavier. Two more. One more. Oh boy. Really got that one. All right, 225 and 6. Moving up maybe a little bit more. One more set. We're gonna go for 4. All right, so I'm just gonna insert some of my own reflection on this. So I realized that on the 3rd or 4th rep that I was leaning a little bit to my left side. So for me, this is totally normal because I had surgery on my right leg when I was 16, and I just naturally shift things to my left leg in an effort to protect my right leg. And that's something that's subconscious, and it doesn't really go away. I mean, it might go away, but for me, it hasn't gone completely away. Even with all the work that I do, focusing on my right leg, it still hasn't completely gone away. And in particular, as this might apply to you, doing exercise that you aren't as familiar with is a good opportunity for you to notice imbalances or to notice things about your body. when you're doing things that you do over and over again, right? So for me, when I do a high lunge or when I do a warrior two, I've done so many that for me sometimes, unless I'm really focusing, sometimes I don't notice that much at all. Now it's a habit for me to notice these things, so I wouldn't say that it really applies to me, but the issue with doing something over and over again is that it becomes a habit, right? You don't think about it unless you make thinking about it a habit. But anyways, so what I was noticing,
you can pick up actually some, because I can just cover this camera.
what part was that?
I think you sort of reiterate
Yeah.
something.
Okay. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that unless you make conscious movement a habit, you're not going to notice things, especially if you do something over and over again and you've gotten to the point where you don't really think about it. Now, for me, I've gotten into the habit of thinking about things. So as soon as I started to do squats, I got into that third or fourth rep and I realized that I was shifting my weight to the left leg because, again, that's what I tend to default to as a result of that knee surgery. So I tend to avoid my right leg sometimes. So as I noticed that I was doing that, I started to keep my weight centered, and then I got to that point in the fifth or sixth rep where I almost didn't get it up. So anyways, I want you to notice, be careful and notice what you're doing. Don't just do things without checking them with your body. So this is a really good way, changing things up, doing new things is a really good way to notice imbalances in your body. All right, take another break, and we're gonna go into set number 4, and hope I don't drop the weights. All right, so this is the last set. As I mentioned before, I'm getting to that point of failure on my last set before this. So I've only added up 5 pounds on each side instead of 10 on each side as I've been doing. So I'm at 235 now. I'm gonna go for 4 reps. I do have my spotter standing by. Edward, drop the camera if necessary, and rush to my assistance. So again, I'm just gonna work on keeping controlled form here. I'm gonna need to get a little bit angrier for this one, just because I'm gonna be taxing myself a little bit more. So a little more loud breathing, maybe some angry grunts. Here we go, last set, 4 total. That's all that's separating me from a successful workout and a well-deserved rest. More. All right, got that one a little easier than I thought. Made it through. Got all the depth I wanted to. So I'm gonna do a little bit of active stretching. Thanks for joining me for this workout today. Make sure you subscribe. We put out lots of videos like this on a very regular basis. And to get full access to all of my workouts, my programs, tutorials, and more, head to manfulyoga.com, sign up for a 7-day trial. It's just $1. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you on the next video.